Welcome to the Sharpe Club. It is the cool late night edition. Yes, 9 p.m. for an old guy like me is late night, I guess. I know you guys are like, late night, 9 o'clock. Yeah, but for me it is, okay? So stop. Don't bust my stones. Okay, 9 p.m. Happy to have you guys here, the Sharpe Club. And you know it's going to be a good show because it always is. So do me a favor and click the like button right now. I have with me today 3 people who are going to give you some cool insight and maybe make you laugh. Probably not, because the one comedian we got, he's very mediocre. But anyway, we might actually make you laugh as possible. I'm going to bring him on right now. It is the man himself, comedian, writer, and author, Lou Perez. How are you, sir?
Oh man, Larry, you give the best introductions, man.
I do, don't I?
I always think every single time I come on, I'm like, it's going to be a little different this time. I will have gained a little bit more respect for Larry, a little bit more confidence, and each time, no man, it's just your.
I don't know why you keep coming back. I'm not really sure why, but anyway,
one day you'll learn your lesson. I have so few options.
There we go. That's what it is. Yes, I know. By the way, love that. I actually ordered it. Believe it or not, I did.
Thank you.
So I'm actually going to read it. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm going to actually read your book. I am. It's funny. I'm going to do it.
Right.
So yes, but I've also bring on someone else. I'm bringing on a political commentator, a writer, and the host of A Fresh Perspective, the man himself, Jeff Charles. How are you, sir?
I'm great now. Anytime I'm
hanging out in Westworld.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in Westworld, and there's a story behind this backdrop, and I haven't changed it yet. But Kira is doing her podcast about movies, and mine was Blazing Saddles, so I use this background for it, and I haven't bothered to change it because I like looking like I'm living in Westworld in a saloon, and it's just wonderful.
100 amazing. I love it. And of course, a crypto artist and self-described Bitcoin babe, woman herself, Fullmetal Magdalene. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on.
Yeah, but you're not in Westworld, which so you're not as cool as Jeff.
No.
That's it.
Is anyone though?
It's hard to get people cooler than Jeff. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I work on it to the best of my ability. So
I feel like there's going to be a twist ending where Jeff realizes that he's a machine this whole time, and we're going to be like, here we go again, another season of Westworld where that is the reveal. All right.
Yes. And you know they're not doing Westworld anymore. They stopped it.
Really?
I stopped it. I stopped watching after I think the first season.
So it's your fault, Lou. That's the problem. It's your fault. Lou screwed up. All right, you guys who like Westworld, Lou screwed it up. He messed it up for everybody. Now we can't watch
send him
Westworld
all the hate
anymore.
mail. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm gonna get all that Westworld hate mail.
Yes. Remember, at the Lou, not regular Lou Perez, the Lou Perez. Absolutely. 100%.
The one and only.
So tell me, Magdalene, the most important thing. You call yourself a Bitcoin babe. Why?
Well, actually, it's Bitcoin slut, but
okay, I'll take that.
Better,
even better.
I got really into Bitcoin in about 2017 when I started actually trying to find out about finances because I was trying to put mine in order. Then I went down the rabbit hole and found out about fractional reserve banking for the first time in my life. And then just kind of kept learning about it, got into Bitcoin, and then got into other cryptos past that, and then eventually NFTs, which is where my art comes in. But Bitcoin slut is my term of like, I love Bitcoin. It's my favorite, but I'm also not a maximalist, and I like to play with all the other cryptos.
I got you.
Which plays into my NFT series called Crypto Sluts.
That's the one that makes you the slut because you don't stay with one. You have a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
Just having that freedom to explore them all.
I love it. Look, I'm a libertarian. You do you. That's all I'm saying. All good. Lou, you have a fan. Dan says, Lou Perez, a true rarity, a 21st century comedian who is actually entertaining.
What an amazing compliment. Thank you so much, Dan. Really appreciate
that.
And
not canceled yet.
Yeah, and I hope you'll be getting in on my cryptocurrency douche dimes. So that's going to be going. I'm going to be going real hard on douche times. So you guys get in there. Like if you're a 40-year-old guy, you can wear your hat backwards and have a wallet full of douche times. So here we go.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm in. I may be a little bit too old, but I may be douchey enough. But I don't know. I may have to work on both parts a little bit. I can pretend. I'll wear my hat backwards, and then you know what I'll do? I'll sit on my chair backwards when I rap with the kids.
Yeah,
that's what I'll do.
You know, we went looking for the fountain of youth. We found the fountain of douche, and then boom.
Well, I guess we'll take what we can get.
What I want to know though is there like a Bitcoin slut walk? Because I'd like to attend that event.
Not yet, but we can make it happen.
I think we should. I love that idea. We're speaking about Westworld and TV. I want to talk about something that's going to sound kind of odd, but I want to talk about Prince Harry. I'm serious. Prince Harry, who left it is Harry, right? It was Henry. No, it's Harry. It is Harry. Yeah. He left England. He came to America. He wanted to be out of the spotlight, right? He didn't want to have the spotlight. So he married a celebrity actress, went in front, did an Oprah interview, got a Netflix deal, wrote a book to make sure he could stay out of the spotlight. So I'm feeling sorry for this multimillionaire wealthy kid. I know you are too, Jeff, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I want to not be in the spotlight, the very first thing I do is I get in front of a television camera. The very first, the second thing that I do is I get a Netflix special, and then I go on Oprah and whine about how I don't want all this attention. Please, Oprah, I don't want this attention anymore. I don't know what to do. But, you know, I don't even blame him. I blame the American media that is obsessed with him and his wife. Like the people who just can't shut up about him. I'm like, dude, if you look closely at it, they're not that interesting. I don't care if Harry's a prince. I don't care if Markle's some beautiful actress. They don't matter to me. I'd rather watch paint dry than to watch them. I actually went on Twitter today and muted both of their names because I'm sick of seeing them.
Wow, you are not playing games. That's hardcore active. I like it.
No.
Dan says, freeze all motor functions. Jeff, those you made it a Westworld
I just might take that advice. That might be a good thing to do.
There we go.
Maybe I'll just talk like this all the time and nobody would pay attention to me.
I love it. So, Lou, do you care about the royal family or no?
Well, I think that, you know, obviously Harry was born into royalty as opposed to becoming, you know, royalty the way the Americans do it by having a sex tape. So until that drops, to me, he's not a prince. She's not a duchess. You know, until that, you know, grainy sex tape comes to fruition.
Look,
sorry.
In today's world with iPhones, grainy, you're a royalty, okay? No grainy. Let's see every detail, all the nooks and crannies. So what are we doing?
No, let's not. Let's not say we did, okay? I mean, make the sex tape, definitely, but I don't want to see it.
Well, the fact that he's royalty, there's a little bit of inbreeding there. So who knows what went wrong, you know, in the mixture, in the DNA, in the process, you know.
There could be some broken stuff there. Absolutely. Josh says we are Sith Lords. Well, I mean, kind of, yeah. That's kind of true. I think it is kind of true. Absolutely. So, but the reason why I bring it up is, without question, when we're talking about people like this, right? There's always that time when people say, isn't it time to get rid of royalty? Isn't it time to just end all this stuff? And no one realizes the most important piece. Do you know what the most important piece of royalty in the UK is? Anybody know? Most important reason why they have royalty. It's a massive moneymaker. It brings ton of money to the country. People go there, and the tourism is absolutely insane. They make something like $1 billion, whatever. I made the number up. It's a whole bunch of money, whatever it is. They make billions of dollars just on tourism because people want to go. And I went to London, was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Right before COVID, maybe 3 years ago. I went to London. When I went there, my daughter and I both like Doctor Who. So I went there and I thought, I'll go to some local shop and I got like a Doctor Who mug or something. I'll get something cool for my daughter to watch. Couldn't find a Doctor Who mug. Doctor Who's made in the UK. Couldn't find a Doctor Who mug. Found 80,000 plates with the Queen's face on it or Princess Diana cup. Oh, I saw royalties up everywhere and people buying it all over the place. I was like, that's why. Our debt's so bad, maybe we need a king and queen. Maybe we need to have an emperor of America so we can make some cash. We have the debt.
That if we want to eliminate the national debt, you might be onto something, Larry. I mean, because I might be weird. Because when I went to London, it was like in 2001, and I did nothing royal. So I went on weird tours, I went on like the Jack the Ripper tour, like that. That was royalty to me. As a matter of fact, that's why I think the best example of British royalty, Jack the Ripper.
I'm not sure that I knew that about you, Jeff, that you have like a mass murder fetish thing. I did not know that was you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Great. I'd much rather learn about that than learn about the royal family.
Well, I guess in theory, there are also mass murderers, depending upon how you look at it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. And if you got to look at what the British Empire did, Jack the Ripper, that's rookie numbers.
Yeah, you know what? If I knew we were going to talk about this, I would have worn my Not Today Colonizer t-shirt.
Oh, there we go. I like that. Yes, absolutely. So I'm sorry, you made me laugh on that. It's a good one. I'm going to buy that shirt because that's a very good shirt.
I'll send you the link to where you can get it. It's beautiful.
So let me, Patricia goes on. Patty says, Parliament, government, and royalty should all be abolished. I mean, yes, but if I'm making money from the royalty, I don't want to get rid of my job. Am I wrong?
What's the like the highest selling royal product? Is it a coffee mug? Is it, fake crowns? Is it iconography?
I think it's the touring. I like the fake crown. I think it's touring. I think it's people like going to the castles and stuff like that. I think it's that. I mean, look, someone has got to show off all the stolen goods from the British Empire, right? So someone's got to show those stolen goods off. So why not them? I mean, if you're going to pick someone to not give back national treasures to countries that you pillaged, I mean, I think it should be the royals, don't you?
Well, what is it
only
about?
One laughing is Jeff. You're the only one laughing. Okay.
Yeah, because Jeff is just thinking about Jack the Ripper right now, and he's going to be giggling
me and
to
Jeff
himself
are the only
show.
ones where the colonizer's not strong in us.
That's right. Well, I mean, I was thinking. I mean, I agree. Abolish the government, abolish the royalty. We got to keep Parliament around. I mean, George Clinton is still alive. That is some of the best music you'll ever listen to. Where else are we going to get Atomic Dog and Flashlight and Not Just Knee Deep? Let's keep Parliament in place.
Okay, I'm in. Let's do it. So now we're talking about art. So let me go to you, Magdalene. Why does someone buy your art? It's a serious question. Why does someone pick your art? What's the thing that makes me go, that's it right there? I know your art. I've seen it. I like it. It's very sexualized. Why does someone buy your art?
From my hair.
There we go.
I mean, shoot. I wish I had someone that had to ask them specifically, but if I was gonna swing at it, as far as my NFTs, for my NFTs, I think a lot of the times with my editions for my more like my cheaper artwork, it's mainly to support me. I think they like what I'm doing, they want to see me make more of it. My main collection, like the one that's on my shirt, these are all profile pictures of like original characters that are now being developed into a manga.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, and so I'm doing it a little differently. I've given them utility, and so one of the best ones about it is when you buy the PFP of the character, you get 10% net profit share in any of my merchandise sold featuring the image.
Look at that.
So that's like, I think the most beneficial one to it, but you also get like further airdrops from me of artwork. So the artwork kind of keeps stacking.
I like that. Stacking artwork. If anybody guys want to check out what she's doing, head over to Twitter. It's full M3 TAL mag, Fullmetal Mag. The E is a 3 if you're listening. Or you can check out Lou Perez at the Lou Perez, not any Lou Perez, the Lou Perez. And of course, check out Jeff on the right. You can follow them all on Twitter. And all their websites are also in the description of the show. If you want to check them out, please, that would be great. I'm getting a lot of comments, guys. Can I grab a couple comments? Do you mind?
Can I ask one question to Magdalene?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, when it comes to it's like profit sharing in your art, I think that's a really cool idea. But like when it comes to like how you actually implement that, like is there a program that keeps track of all that stuff?
No, I mean, I would like to build one that will. Like, I
Mhm.
don't know how to code, so I'm looking for a programmer for that. But right
You
now
might
I'm
find one
small enough.
tonight.
That would be great. But right now it's just all manual. So I have the record of the sales from my store, and then that's one of the cool things about an NFT is I can see the wallet that holds it. So like I
Oh,
don't have to
nice.
know this person's name, where they live, anything about them personally. I just know that that wallet holds that NFT, and so I can send the profit just straight to that wallet. I use Polygon, which is a side chain to Ethereum, to avoid the high gas fees of Ethereum. But then that way the wallet address is still the same.
Did that answer your question? Did you understand anything she said?
A lot of that went over my head.
That's what I figured.
But I do like the idea of, artists being able to put their work out there and people finding value in it, and also being able to basically be investors in the work that you're doing. So I think that's a really cool model that you put out.
Yeah, I
There we
think
go.
not everybody adds utility to their art, but if you think of it kind of like a Patreon, but with Patreon, you don't have that opportunity to then make a profit on your
Right.
investment. So NFTs are a really cool new tool to use for that,
Well, there we go.
where hopefully
And
it's
if
like
you-
the artist becomes more popular, they're more valuable.
Mhm.
So if you guys want to support this show, you can. How do you do that? If you're watching it on Twitter, retweet it. If you're watching on Twitter right now, go ahead and retweet it. It's awesome if you could. And if you want to, if you happen to be on YouTube, you can also super chat. Super chats are available on YouTube. You can do that. It's awesome. You can super chat if you like. Or if you're on Twitter, just retweet it. It helps us out tremendously. So people in the chat are yelling about royalty. They are not happy about royalty at all. Like, abolish it all, abolish everything, blah, blah. They're not happy at all. So just so you know that, they're not happy about that. Logic Rex asks, what's the best crypto wallet / app?
Personally, I like Trust Wallet.
Well, there we go. That was easy. That was very easy. There we go.
I try to steer clear away from exchanges because you're running into the same issues as banking where they're holding your money. So you always want to do a self-custody with your crypto. If you want to get on an exchange and get your stuff and use it for what it is, like get onto your thing and then always take your money back off into your personal wallet.
There we go. The Scientific Libertarian says, I use a lot of sex appeal on my page by not showing my face very often. Okay, I guess so. But Patricia says sex sells. I think that's true. Look, I was thinking about something. My sponsor for this show is The Advocates, theadvocates.org, and they sponsor the show. And we're talking about money, and we're talking about canceling the government. Should we take one of the tests or the surveys from theadvocates.org? What do you think?
I'm down.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah? Which one should we take? I mean, we could take one on government debt. We could take just the regular, we could just take the regular world's smallest political quiz, whatever the case may be. We take one on identity politics, national security. Come on, which one? Which one?
Identity politics sounds fun.
I mean, I think we have a pretty diverse panel right now.
We do.
So
Yes.
Maybe that's the way to go.
Maybe that's the one to go. Exactly right. I don't want to assume anyone's gender, but I think we have at least one woman. Am I correct?
At least one.
We have at least one. I'm pretty sure at
one.
least one. Right, there we go. I love it. All right. You know what? I'm in. Let's do it. We're gonna take that one. We'll take the identity, politics, political correctness. And to be clear, if you guys make a mistake, I'm going to cancel you. Just so you understand, you will be canceled. That's kind of how that works. All right. So we're gonna start the survey. And the question one is select one. How do you identify? American Indian, Alaska Native, Asian, Black or African American, Hispanic, Latino, or of Spanish origin, Native Hawaiian or the Pacific Islander, white or other. White got the short end on this one, didn't it? Just like white. Kind of got the short end of this.
It almost blends into the white background. That's how
It does.
little
It's a problem.
Yeah.
But I guess, I'm going to ask you something, Jeff. How do you identify?
Up until 2020, I identified as Black. I didn't vote for Biden. So, that's kind of what pisses me off about Biden. He said that you ain't Black if you don't vote for him, but he didn't say what you actually were.
That
So
bothered me.
I
I
don't know
never
what I
got it in the mail or nothing. I didn't know. Did we pick or what? I don't know.
It would have been a lot more helpful if he said you ain't Black, you're white, or you ain't Black, but you're Latino. he didn't even bother. Like, that's how little he cares about the American people. At least if he's going to determine my identity, at least tell me what I am, and don't just tell me what I'm not, you know?
I think I can pick. I'm going to go with Filipino. That's what I want to do.
How amazing how amazing would that have been? Like, you know, if like Filipino community just turns around, it's just like a bunch of black dudes now, like conservative black dudes, and they're like, I guess we have to take you. There's no, I mean,
yes.
You know, what are the rules?
President said, guys, sorry, I'm now Filipino. Let me into a trade organization. Sorry.
Commander-in-Chief's orders.
There we go. Commander-in-Chief's orders. I'm now Filipino. Yes. But does black bother you, Jeff?
No, not really. I mean, I'm not really into the term African American. I mean, I don't get offended by it, but I just go by Black American. I mean, just keep it simple, you know? And I know, as Black people, we like to keep you guys on your toes. This one is especially for you and for you, Lou, and Magdalene. We like to keep you on your toes. We do this on purpose. We change the name of what we want to be called because we want to see if you guys can keep up. And if you're not, it gives us an excuse to call you racist.
Correct. Yes.
We talk about it in all of our meetings.
Well, to be fair, no matter how you self-identify, whether it's Black or African American, there are ways to say those words where they are, you know, politically correct, but still sound racist. You know,
it's true.
Like where you put the emphasis on, like, it's like bunch of typical Black dudes, you know. And then it's like you're a racist, but you're using the right nomenclature.
I use the right word.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I love it. I love it. It's good. So, Magdalene, do you identify as a woman?
Yes.
You do. See, we have
surprise.
One. We're good. I love it. We're good. I love it. All right. So this one we're gonna put other because there's like too many of us. So we'll put other.
Yeah. What would that look like if we were all, you know, just melting pot boiled down together? You know, what would
like
we?
A human Voltron.
Yeah.
or human centipede.
Oh,
I call the front. I'll be the front of that one. All right.
Yeah,
just
I wish
saying,
I would have beat that.
I know Larry's fine with being the back one. He's going to be the last one.
Player.
He's all good at that one.
I'm a team player. That's fun. Team player. Good. Team player. So under 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 49, over 50. Why don't we split it like in the middle? Is that good?
Yeah, I identify as 25 to 34, so we're good.
Oh, there we go. Me too. That's how I identify. I've been identifying that
is backwards. We've established that already. So
correct. We have. It's true. I'm wearing a hoodie, which makes me cool.
There we go.
So yeah, I think we played a game. Yeah, I like it. Good. I'm gonna go other for gender because gender doesn't matter, right? Anyway, so how do you identify politically? Conservative, libertarian, moderate, progressive, authoritarian, unsure, or other? That's a good question, Lou. Do you identify a certain way?
I usually go with the libertarian. Yeah.
Oh, look at you. That's awesome.
I think that's a good way. Some days I wake up and I'm not feeling as fresh of a libertarian as I normally am. But
sometimes you wake up, you don't have that fresh feeling.
Yeah.
Is that where the douche dimes come in?
That's where the douche dimes
comes in.
I'll tell you what, if you want something to take care of your freshness and make sure that you are in peak condition, you're going to want to have some douche dimes in your wallet right there. You want to buy some NFTs with some douche dimes, just throw that out there. Throw it right in her face, bro. That's all you want. It's confidence. It's a confidence builder. Make sure you're putting others down, and then the douche will raise you.
There we go. Yes, that. Jeff, you identify as conservatarian, right? Is that kind of what you go?
No, I'm identifying as anarchist now, so libertarian would be the closest to that. But I do have a
you are playing games.
No, I'm not. No, but I have a question though. Like it has authoritarian on there. Who would actually self-identify as an authoritarian? Is there anybody who would do that?
Yes.
Really?
I wish you were wrong, but yes, absolutely. To be forward, a lot of people think that these tests are all made to push you into libertarian. They're not. The most common outcome is moderate. Of all these tests, the most common outcome is moderate because most Americans are moderate. The most common outcome is moderate. Luckily for us, the lowest outcome is authoritarian. That's the lowest. That is. But here's the thing that some may be scared about. While this test is not a very good poll of America, obviously, but the people who take it have been taking it for years. And over the course of decades, authoritarian is getting bigger. Recently, authoritarian outcomes it's still small, but we can see an uptick in authoritarianism in this test. Now, again, that doesn't mean that America's more authoritarian, but the number of people taking this test, the percentage is higher and higher and higher. They're moving towards authoritarianism. So some people actually say, yeah, we need is a good dictator. Those people still exist. I'm sorry, I just made Jeff's head explode. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm depressed now.
There we go. Yes. Yes. But yes, people do. Absolutely.
I wonder how
Magdalene.
many people. Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lou.
I was just going to say, I would wonder how many people might not necessarily think they're authoritarian, but then they answer enough questions, and then it turns out, oh no, actually, dude, you're actually authoritarian.
Yes, that absolutely happens. Yes, I've watched it happen. If you ever see libertarians go out into like if we go to like a trade show, or we go out to a state fair or something, very often we'll hand out the world's smallest political quiz, and people take a test. And we physically put little stickers on a big board that shows where people land. And you can tell by the neighborhood, some neighborhoods are more conservative, some neighborhoods are more, liberal, and more of them go that way. But there'll be people who will pop authoritarian. And it's the best part. Whenever they do, they're never surprised. Like if you're an authoritarian, you know it. Like you're like, yeah, that's me. Like they never are surprised. Like, yeah. We had a good dictator, things would be better around here. That literally is said. Jeff, please stay on. Don't leave. But it's just true.
They wear that with pride. Okay. I'd rather know who it is than not know.
100%. Absolutely. So Magdalene, what do you identify as?
Pretty similar to crypto. I would say I'd like to see slut up there, because
I will ask them to change it to
Please.
Put that in there. I'll ask them to.
Because I like to listen. I want to listen to everybody's point. I'd hate to like be closed off to a good opinion or a good solution to something just because like it's from a different party. So yeah, political slut.
I like that. Hold on, I gotta find the slut part. I can't find that one. So whoops.
You better lock that. You better lock that down right now before somebody else takes it. Political sluts. Like you could do a whole thing on that.
Today's the day.
All right, so
yeah, because if you don't, I'm going to.
I love it. The question is, claims about systemic racism should primarily be, and the first one is supported by the best available statistics and evidence, or accepted as the voices of the oppressed and their lived experience, or downplayed because such claims are getting way overblown. I'll say it again. Supported by the best available statistics and evidence, accepted as the voices of the oppressed and their lived experience, downplayed because such claims are getting way overblown.
I'm going to take this and speak for the voiceless.
Please do that.
No, I mean, I think, if the evidence is there, then you have to look at the evidence. But the other two choices, it's like downplayed. It's like, are you going to downplay it even if evidence were there? That seems like that doesn't seem like a very honest way to go about life. Or are you going to overplay it because if the evidence isn't there? So,
well, I'm just saying, if it's good for me, shouldn't I, whatever. If it works for me, I should just go, yeah, it works for me. I don't know, Jeff. Where are you on this one?
Personally, I'm in the, if the evidence supports it. And I think in a lot of cases it does, and in a lot of cases it doesn't. But I think that's where most of America is. If you were to listen to the fringe elements or the influencers on conservative and progressive is going to pick accepted as the voices, and every other option means you're a racist. And then on the conservative influencer end, you're going to get downplayed no matter what, just like Lou was saying. They're going to downplay it no matter what the evidence is. And the far left is going to exaggerate it no matter what the evidence is.
There we go. Magdalene, what do you think?
I'm going to do another one for the statistics and evidence,
Everyone would do the same.
That's like the most logical conclusion, right?
No, I mean, you gotta remember some of these questions, and people think politically, they think emotionally, right? So if someone has been calling me a bad name or something, I'm going to feel one way or the other. If someone's insulting my race, I'm going to feel like the whole world's racist. It's my feeling. If someone's calling me a racist, I feel like, no, I'm not a racist. It's all overblown. So I'm going to feel based upon what my current world is for me, right? If people are insulting me because of my race, I'm going to feel like it's my lived experience. If people are calling me a racist when I don't think I am, it's all overblown. I mean, am I not making sense?
Yep. Yeah, I think people do base it on their experience. And another factor is if you're a minority, but you've never experienced racism, then you might think it's overblown there too. I mean, people in general don't think outside of their own experiences, even though they should.
I remember, I had a specific experience when I was a kid, when I was very young, till around 11 years old. I grew up in the South Bronx. Almost all my friends were Black, some were Hispanic, but I had maybe one white friend, maybe, I don't remember. So I remember everyone around me being a minority. When someone told me what a minority was, I didn't understand it. They were like, minorities. What do you mean? Like Black people. I said, we're not a minority. Everybody I know is Black. What are you talking about? That's not true. White people minorities, not us. I mean, I was a kid. I didn't understand it. And then when I went out to Long Island, when I was around 12, all of a sudden, almost all my friends became white, almost overnight. It was a very different mindset, thought process. And I remember being called the N-word in anger. And it never happened to me when I lived in the Bronx. And I grew up in the 70s, right? I'm giving my age away. We used to call ourselves the N-word just friends. That was like my friend, my brother. That's what that was. And then we had Long Island. I was like, now I got it. So my life experience within those years was very different. I'm sorry, I went down a crazy road, Jeff.
No,
that's all right.
I have a question for you guys. So I pride myself. We did have at least one Black person at our wedding. I was very proud of that. We put them right in the middle between me and my wife, just so everyone could see, and took lots of pictures.
Black friend.
So everyone would know. We paid them in cash at the end.
Perfect.
Nice. I was going to ask that. Yeah.
But but talking about, experience, what was it like for you, Larry, like being like the one Black kid at a party now with all like white people? Because I think it's something that like I remember going when I was in college. We went to a club one night, and it was all NYU kids, but it was like I don't know if it was like Greek night or something like that. It was basically like kind of like NYU's Black students kind of had like this night at a club, and going there, and it was like, wow, this is like the first time that I'm looking around and I'm like the only one who looks like me, hanging out. And it was a weird feeling. Now, I don't know if it's something maybe you didn't notice it or you get used to it, but it's something that I never thought about until, very rare circumstances like that.
I will tell you another odd story. I take this not as, anger at all. But when I was a kid, when I went to the Long Island, there was a euphemism that the teachers used to use and the administrators would use for Black kids. And the euphemism was city kids. So when I went to go to school, I was a very good student in the Bronx, top of my class in the Bronx. So I went out to Long Island and I said, well, my dad was there and he said, well, put him in the top class. And the principal said, well, city kids don't do well in the top class. We'll put him in a bottom class and he'll work his way up. And my dad was like, that means he's stuck in a dungeon and never comes out. Now, most parents don't know any better. They would just let their kid go where the administrator said so. My father was very aggressive and I was watching. And he said, no, test him right now. So he didn't want to test me. And my father said, no, test him this moment. Don't prep him, test him now. So I took some test, whatever the test was. I got the high grade I had to get, and they put me in the top class. I was the only Black kid in that class. The lower classes, everybody was Black. So I say that, and this was the 70s, so a while ago, but I say this not to be angry or anything like that. I'm not. It's what it was. It's done. It's a done deal. It's over. But this will make some of you young people of color upset. When you tell me how everybody's so racist because they called you African American versus Black or Black versus African American, that's not racism. That's your feelings are hurt. I suffered racism, and my father even worse. My father, it's true, and I'm very clear. This was the Bronx. My father, that's what I'm telling you now. It's New York State. This isn't the deep South, Alabama. This is New York State. My father was sitting in a restaurant, a bar, with a white woman, not dating her. They were friends. A guy came over to him and smashed him in the head with a can opener. Your old can openers where you pop the top. Popped him in the head with can opener, opened up his head. He was bleeding. He goes outside, falls on the ground. Nobody calls the cops. He has to go home and get stitches. No consequences, no nothing. This was the 60s. So, yeah, I would say that was racism. Someone said, you're black, not African-American. You know what? That's not racism. I'm sorry. Maybe that makes you angry when I say it, but that's not racism.
Well, it goes to the whole microaggressions conversation. And I know the way that they use the term microaggressions is not the way that it was originally intended when the person coined the term. But now it just means like if a white person says something stupid that could be racially insensitive, then that's a microaggression and you're supposed to be offended by that. I mean, when I was younger, like if somebody said something like that, then it might be annoying or I might laugh at it. Or if they're my friend, I would educate them and be like, hey, you might not want to say that around other black dudes. I'm trying to keep you safe here. You know, it's just, and then you just moved on with your life. Like you didn't go on social media and talk about how oppressed you are because somebody said something about your hair or asked where you're really from. I mean, it's just, to me, it worries me because a lot of younger black people, they can't handle a lot. They're being taught to be overly sensitive, and not all of them, but I mean, especially if they're going through the college system, they're being told that if somebody says these things, they are hurting you, they are oppressing you. And you know they're teaching them the wrong lesson. I mean, I couldn't even imagine telling any of my grandparents, "Hey, this person said something about the texture of my hair and it's racist and I'm oppressed." They'd laugh in my face. They couldn't even drink the same water fountains. So to me, yes, racism.
Your grandfather would probably punch you physically. He'd probably punch you.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I believe racism exists. I believe that there's racism even in our government. It has an impact, but it is not. But I'm not worrying about a neo-Nazi behind every tree waiting to lynch me. Like that. That's absolutely. And honestly, most black people aren't. But these are the lies that they tell, and these are lies that white progressives tell themselves, so that they can feel better about patting us on the head as their pet Negroes that need their rescuing every 2 seconds.
Yes,
it's infuriating.
You heard that, ladies and gentlemen. If you are looking for a rescue, do not rescue a pet Negro. Make sure it's like a corgi or something.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
You can rescue a stray Negro.
That's fine. Stray ones are fine. That's fine. Yeah, I agree. Totally fine.
Well, you know, like Jeff was talking about, sometimes you'll come across like stupid, questions. You let that slide, but it's even gotten to the point where even something that isn't necessarily stupid, something that's just like out of curiosity, like, hey, where are you from? That's considered a microaggression. And I saw this one tweet on Twitter, of course. That's where tweets are. And it said,
usually that's where I see them. Yep.
Yeah. It said let's normalize asking white people where they're from, as if like that was like a slam dunk. And it's like, look, I mean, if you want to make white people happy, ask them where they're from 100%. And have them go through their friggin' family tree, go through their 23andMe results with you. There's nothing they would like more than to do
100%.
that.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. But it's the worst part. Look, I live in New York City. New York City, 1/3 of New York City residents aren't born in the country. Another 1/3 aren't born in New York. Everybody's from someplace else. That's how we say hello, right? We say hello to each other going, oh, so where are you from? And most of the time the person says, oh, I'm from Chicago, or I'm from whatever. I'm from so-and-so. They're from someplace else. They're almost always from someplace else. It's not racist at all. It's just, you're probably not from here. I'm a minority in my own city. I'm born here. I'm born in Manhattan, and I'm the oddball. Absolutely. So let's go off of race for a second, though. Magdalene, do you feel, and it's going to, I don't mean to be a nudge when I say this, but I remember a tweet, which I also, by the way, Lou, saw on Twitter. Crazy.
Oh,
I remember
thank God.
A tweet. I know, I saw it on Twitter, and it said, what would you do if the patriarchy was gone for a day? And I thought to myself, do women think that? Like, is that a thing that women are worried about? Like, oh my God, if only the patriarchy wasn't here, I could achieve something. Do you think women feel that way? Do you feel that way?
I wouldn't be bold enough to speak for like womankind, but for
It's okay.
myself,
Hold
no,
on, hold on, hold
it's
on.
not.
I have just deemed you the Empress of Women temporarily. Go ahead, please.
Oh wow.
Yep.
No,
It's official.
not something I think about at all.
Okay, that answered my question. I kind of felt the same way. So, all
Yeah.
right, so I guess we're gonna answer this by supporting the best available statistics and evidence, right?
Yes.
All right.
Which
Before
means that
we
we're
go there,
racist.
though, yes, you are. There, I got a bunch of comments. I want to grab some of these if I can. The Neuromancer says, "I'm still looking for the patriarchy. Apparently, I need to dig harder or deeper. Maybe, yes. So, hold on. So, but isn't there a patriarchy though? Doesn't it exist?
I mean,
I stumped you all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what's even meant by that question or by that terminology. I mean, I guess I don't know. To me, let's just go back to James Brown. This is a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl, right? So
Yep.
I believe that men and women both play their different roles. And I do think that there are certain, say, careers that women just aren't as interested in as men are. And then vice versa. There are certain careers and roles that men aren't as interested in. And that even tends to change over time. So I'm not even sure what's meant by the patriarchy. Are they talking about men who engage in sexist behavior, people who mansplain, or engage in sexual harassment? Is that patriarchy, or is that just people, being douchebags and using douche dimes?
And well, if you use douche dimes, you can do that. It becomes authorized if you do that.
I think it's required.
Bro, douche dimes can be used to pay for so many things. One thing it could definitely be used for is to stop you from becoming a father. Okay, so douche dimes can totally be used. Well, the thing with the patriarchy too is that, and like Jeff says, whatever people mean by that, it's always negative though. There is nothing positive linked
that's a good point.
to patriarchy.
Right.
So
it's by default an insult.
Exactly. So it's one of these words you're not. It's sort of like, well, if there is, then what is the good of it, and what is compared to what the bad is, and maybe we could have a discussion of cost benefits. I don't know. I think it's pretty good having, for example, I'm a dad, and it's really good that I'm a dad in my two kids, in the lives of my two sons and my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I play a very important role that goes beyond just being someone who pays the bills. I think that there's a much more deeper, important role to play there. That I would say that in that case, yeah, I guess this is a patriarchy, and there's a give and take there, and there are a lot of positives that I think outweigh the negatives of that.
Well, I would say that there is it's as usual based on something true but not real. What I mean by that is, if you look at the top 1% of the world, it is dominated by men. That's true. Most people in the top 1% are men, and most also are white in the top percent. Most are. That's true. But it's just the top 1%. So 99% of men are not in the patriarchy. 99% of white men are not in the patriarchy. I would go higher, probably 99.9% are not in the patriarchy, are not at that top. So now you're going to punish all men or punish all white men for the 0.1% of them who happen to be in the top, in which case not all of them are. There are people of color in the top 1%. There are women in the top 1%. It's mostly men. But if you're mad at them, then why wouldn't we say, I'm mad at the top 1% who won't give me my free thing that I want? That at least makes sense to me, at least, right? I mean, I don't agree with it, but at least I could understand if you go, well, the rich people should give me stuff because they're rich. Okay, but why am I going, men suck? That's the part I don't get.
There was at the Met Gala, there was I don't know if it was an actress or a model who was wearing a getup, and it said, "Peg the patriarchy," like PEG, peg the patriarchy.
Wow.
For those of you who don't know, like pegging is when your lady puts on a dildo and sodomizes you, and
Correct.
It was like the idea of peg the patriarchy. It's like, oh wow, you're threatening the patriarchy with one of the most insane orgasms it's ever going to have, and somehow that's, you know, diminishing the patriarchy, taking it down. Like, yeah, but threaten somebody with a good time. Yeah, that's really going to do it.
That's I'm with you on that one. I mean, I've met a lot of people who'd be like, "Oh, shall we? How much?" I mean, they would be like, "Yeah, okay, let's do this." Absolutely. So, Donnie the Don.
We need to know about you, Lou? I mean,
there we go.
You guys don't have to know anything about me. Just know that I'm here. That's it.
There we go. Donnie the Don says, "I'd rather be a housewife over being a corporate slave." Huh.
Amen.
Well, I guess in that case, she at least is volunteering at that point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she is, right? Magdalene, I mean, this is...
No. I don't know. I've also never felt limited in anything that I've aspired to get involved in, ever.
Got it.
You know.
Got it.
I think in general, women are pretty supported in a lot of stuff that they want to do. And there's a lot of programs to try and bring them into fields that there aren't high numbers in, you know.
Well, this is the piece that most people don't know. When it comes to the youth, meaning under 30, right? And we've identified between 25 and 34, so that's us. So when it comes to the youth under 30, women are actually doing better than men with every metric you could possibly make. It doesn't matter what it is. They are making more money. They are getting higher educated. They are being promoted faster. They are, in every way you could measure, they are doing better than men. So if there is a patriarchy, it's with older people in America. It's not with the youth. The youth, the opposite is. Women are, and it's one of the reasons why so many men are falling out of the workforce. It's why so many men are committing suicide. It's why so many men are struggling to find mates. It's because women are dominating them, and our culture isn't prepared for that. We haven't set our culture up to make that work better. So if you're a young woman, the kind of world's kind of your oyster.
You know, and, you know, at the risk of sounding like the patriarchy, I'm not sure if the culture can sustain that. You know, and the other part of that, too, is that they feel like they're fighting the patriarchy if they have these high powered careers, which I'm not going to knock women who do that. I mean, I was raised by a mother who had a high powered career. But then you also notice that the ones who do want to be a housewife, who do want to be more traditional, they're mocked, they're ridiculed. I mean, even advocating for those values can get you canceled. So to me, I'm not sure that our culture is ready for that. I mean, most men, whether they admit it or not, they would have trouble being with a mate that makes more money than them or has more power than them. And, you know, whether that's good or bad or otherwise, like, I think that is a reality that's going to be, I think, impossible to confront. And like I said, I mean, they're talking about how patriarchy rules over women somehow, but at the same time, you're still not really letting a woman to make a choice if she does want to be a housewife. Yeah, you're not making you're not using the government against them, but you are using social pressure to get them to reject those values.
Well, and is it not valued because it doesn't make money? You know, like I feel like the people that are coming at housewives, that you're saying that they're devaluing what she's wanting to participate in because it's not of monetary value.
Yeah, Magdalene, I think you nailed it, because and I think you see a similar thing too with the arts. You know, a lot of people can't understand, like, why would you paint something if you weren't making money doing it? Right. And so, you know, and I think it comes down to also just how we value things differently. Like over the weekend, my wife went away with her friends, like an overnight trip, girls' night. And it was me and our two little guys. So my oldest is going to be 3 in a couple of months, and then my youngest is like 1 and some change, right? So they're babies, they're toddlers. One's a toddler and one's a baby. They don't stop moving. They are up. You know, once they're up at like 5:30 in the morning, they don't stop moving, man. And this was the first time that I had the two of them for, you know, a 24-hour stretch. And it was work, man. It was really tough. And my wife, you know, we've chosen the life where my wife is the main person who's with them while I'm working.
I did the same thing with my kids.
Yeah, and a big part of it is because we value this experience that we'll never have again. being able, having my wife be able to be with them at this young of an age, being able to be a part of their, every day, their growth, to be able to see them. And me, I get to work from home as well. So that's that's another value where, I walk outside, I can go see my kids, where a lot of guys, a lot of men don't have that choice. A lot of women don't have that choice too.
Yep.
So I think there is something too, where especially in our circles, and when we talk about libertarianism, I think libertarians get painted a lot as sort of like these corporate shills. It's all about money.
You like hate corporatism.
No, exactly. But that's how you get painted, like, oh, you're selfish and all that, as opposed to no. We want the freedom to live our lives as we see fit, and also to pursue the values that we see, whether that be in business, whether that be in family, whether that be in just the interpersonal relationships that we have.
But there's another thing. Someone told me something very savvy years ago. She said women were told a lie, and the lie was you can have it all. It wasn't that is a lie. It's that you have to modify it. You can have it all, but not at the same time. And she was very savvy. She's like, you can have a career, you can raise children, you can be a great mother, you can be a good sister, you can be a good daughter, you can be a good all the things, not at the same time. You're just a human being. You can't be all the great things at the same time. You can be a couple of them at the same time, and you've got to choose different phases of your life to where, now I'm going to be the hardcore doing this, and now I'm going to be the hardcore doing that. And luckily, to your point, Lou, I think many women have many more options now, to where you can, take a little bit of time off here, of this, time off of that, to focus on different things in their lives. I think it's a great time, relative to history, obviously, that women could have it all, not at the same time.
I would also say too, and somebody brought this up in the chat, but I mean, a housewife staying home doesn't necessarily mean that she's not doing things on her own, or things to generate income, or things that she enjoys doing, especially in this day and age. And a lot of people link this traditional thing with Christianity, which makes sense. But if you look at Proverbs 31, if you look at the woman that is described in that verse, which is supposed to be describing the perfect woman, she's with the kids, but she's also working. I mean, she's doing real estate deals. She's doing business. And a lot of women don't work in traditional corporate America, but that doesn't mean they don't have their own side hustle going. That doesn't mean that they're not doing art or whatever kinds of businesses there are. Especially nowadays, you can start a business on your computer. I mean, there are a lot of different ways to live. And I think that's why liberty appeals to me, because it allows for all of that. Libertarians aren't going to say, oh, well, you're not worth anything unless you go work for another man and make money going towards his dream. Or if you want to stay home and do your thing and work toward your man's dream and also yours at the same time, to me, that makes a lot more sense. But liberty means that you can do whatever you want, and I'm not going to pressure you or use the government to enforce that type of lifestyle on you.
Well, you're saying that, Magdalene, you're kind of doing that, aren't you? You're kind of using, I guess, crypto and art as a way to generate cash as you see fit, to self-identify as a crypto slut in any way you want to self-identify, and live your life as you see. You and Jeff are the same team here, am I right?
Yeah, I see. I mean, I am heavily involved in crypto and NFTs because, in part, I see a greater financial freedom to have my time to do things that I want to do. I am happy to make money off my art, but I would continue to make it if it didn't pay, because it's just what I'm passionate about doing. It's been really great to have success, more so because more people than ever have been exposed to my work, and to have that interaction of people who really enjoy it means so much more than the money to me, which has been a change. When I first started, I was like, I just want to make money, because like everybody was making money on NFTs and in crypto and everything. And then, I value having been in the workforce. I have a lot more confidence in myself. I've learned a lot from having to hold a job. I'm really grateful for that experience, but I don't find a deeper fulfillment in my job than that. And I think that I will find that hopefully in the future when I do have kids.
I love that. It's great. And guys, so in case you want to check it out, you can please follow them all on Twitter. You can follow Magdalene if you want to at full M3TAL metal. The E is a 3 mag. So full M3TAL Mag. You can follow Lou Perez at the Lou Perez. You can follow Jeff on the Right, all on Twitter, and check their websites out. Just head over to the show description, and their websites are there. You can help me out here if you want to by using super chats on Larry Sharpe YouTube, or if you're watching on Twitter, do me a simple favor. Retweet this right now so more people can see it. Either one will help regardless. So that's very helpful if you can do that. I want to go back, if you guys don't mind, though. I do want to go back to the quiz. I thought it's kind of interesting. It's getting us all started, and so far no one's got mad. So I'm going to go with supported the best evidence if I could. The next one. When someone says power with reference to a society, which of the following is closest to your conception? So when someone says power, when it comes to society, which is the closest to your conception? The means by which majority groups oppress minority groups, or the means by which authorities force people to comply, or the means by which media companies are able to silence or deplatform dissenting voices. I'll say them again. The means by which majority groups oppress minority groups, or the means by which authorities force people to comply, or the means by which media companies are able to silence or deplatform dissenting voices. All of those have come to play recently, guys.
Yeah.
All of them have come to play recently. Every one of them has. Magdalene, help me out here. What are you thinking?
Well, my first thought was one that's not listed, which is those who control the money.
Oh, I like that. It's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But then I lean towards the means by which authority force people to comply, like, say taxes. You pay them with the force of, imprisonment, the loss of your freedoms, so it's not voluntary.
I like that. You're going to make us add all kind of stuff to the test, Magdalene. I don't know. You're making me add stuff. We got to add
out of the three, I would go with that one too, Magdalene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with the means by which authorities force people to comply, especially because when you look at the media suppressing voices, they tend to be doing that for a statist purpose. They tend to be doing that for the government. So that's already part of that's already baked into the cake. And they do it regardless of who's controlling the government, because their ultimate objective is to have a statist government that does what they want it to do. So I would say it all boils down to the authorities forcing people to comply. And then with that, they use that to oppress racial minorities, ideological minorities, all kinds of minorities.
Absolutely. Yes. A bunch of people have said this. Donnie says all the above. Ava says yes to all of them. Yes. Flamethrowers as authorities. Yes, absolutely. And then Ava jumps to the same side. Yes, those centralized bankers. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that was kind of an easy one, huh? Okay, that was the easy one. But the money part, I mean, you can't fund a government in the modern day, sadly, if you're going to be oppressive without hardcore taxation and debt, right? So it's kind of true. I'm going to give them look real fast. Usually, if I can find it, usually somebody will post the debt in my chat every single show. I'm not joking. Every single show. See if he did. I'm going to look now. He did. Pete Clark did it again. It is the debt. $31,385,444,530,134.11. That is what you're talking about, Magdalene. Literally what you were speaking about.
Good Lord.
And also why there's such a push against Bitcoin, because if you hold your money out of a bank, they can't come and take it from you when you're not complying to the things that they want you to comply to.
There we go. There we go. So, all right, that was an easy one. Let's go to that one. All right. Here we go. Which of the following most closely aligns with your beliefs about gender identity and common facilities, such as restrooms or locker rooms that are open to the public? 1, all people should be able to choose their gender identity and thus accordingly which facilities they would like to use. Or owners of facilities that are open to the public should be able to set their own policies about who can use such facilities. Or 3, gender is determined at birth So the law should direct people to use facilities according to what is written on their birth certificates. We went to
I
gender
like
now.
leaving
We're
it
off
up to
race.
the owners of the facilities.
Yeah, this
Like
seems
owners?
the question itself seems a little, I don't know, like you're kind of answering two different things, you know, like where it's
Okay.
like, how do you, what do you think about gender, like, i.e., it being assigned and whatnot, versus, what you could do on your property. You could have how many places have gender neutral bathrooms,
It's a lot more. I see it in New York all the time.
Yeah, me too. Here in Austin, I see
All
it.
the
And
time.
even when I travel, I see a lot of gender neutral bathrooms. I would go with owner of the establishment, because if they have bathrooms in a way that I don't like, I won't go there. I'll just go somewhere else.
But isn't the argument, right, that if you do that, you're discriminating, right? You're saying you're discriminating against somebody because, hey, isn't that the argument? And doesn't that then go to, in theory, isn't the argument that if you let that go, Jeff, now if I want to have, black restrooms and white restrooms, it's my establishment. I want to have, some for people who are tall, some people who are short. I want to have a black restroom, a white restroom. I want to have a blah, blah, blah. Isn't that the slippery slope that they will tell you?
It could be, and they could use that argument. Although I think that there's a lot more that goes into it. I mean, most biological women are not going to be comfortable with having a grown man next to them. I mean, that's just the way it is. Now the left has maybe created a culture to where they can't say that out loud because they'll get canceled, which is how they're trying to enforce this stuff. But the bottom line is that the owner should be able to decide on this. Now that would lead to that conversation. And I don't know if we're ready for that. And I don't know if we're ready for that conversation yet.
I would assume if they did make weird choices like that, though, they'd lose business.
That's the other thing too. Yeah. I mean, because if a business owner did, if you look at in 2023, the average business in most areas of this country, if they said, I don't want black people eating in my restaurant, they're going to go out of business. I mean, they'll get blasted.
No, you can eat at the restaurant. You just got to go to the bathroom in a special black person bathroom. You can eat in the restaurant. See? You just got to go to the special black person bathroom. That's all.
Right this way, Cedric the Entertainer. We have a bathroom just for you.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. Just for you, Cedric, right here. Perfect.
Oh, man.
I mean, is it an issue?
I mean, I think realistically, if that were to be legal, then yeah, I do think the free market would take care of it. And chances are, if you're in a place, if you're talking about parts of the country where that would be acceptable, how many black people are going to choose to live there anyway? And honestly, like the way I look at it, and I think I've said this on your show before, Larry, I like my racism blatant. I want my racism to be out there. If you are a racist and you don't want me in your establishment because of the color of my skin, I want to know that, because I will gladly give you what you want and not give you my money.
Yes, absolutely.
Guys, I know it's not my show. This is my job, but I just happened to look at Twitter, a tweet on Twitter, and there's a number of them. Apparently, tonight, Diamond and Silk has passed away.
No.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Right when we start talking about whether or not, you should let black people use your bathroom, Diamond and Silk passes away. I mean,
no.
She was like, she couldn't believe what's Larry talking about. And that was it. That was it. It's my fault.
I believe in omens, so I'm putting the blame on you guys. I'll tell you that.
All right, hold on. I'm going to look at this.
Well, Larry's show,
are you serious? Are you teasing me?
Yeah.
No, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. Rip Diamond. Oh my God, that's terrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awful.
I said she had been sick.
That was a bad joke. I said I apologize for that. Her family has lost. I am sorry about that. That was terrible.
You said she'd been sick?
Yeah, in one tweet said that her family said she had been sick for a little while.
Oh no!
Oh, that is terrible. I did not want her to pass. That was not. Yes,
I have to admit that I don't know who's Diamond and who's Silk, and it's that I don't know what their names are. Who's who. So
because they're always together.
I don't either. So yeah,
I'm not saying
they're always together.
Yeah, I'm not saying they all look the same. I'm not being that guy.
Yeah,
all right?
you are.
No,
You
I'm
are still
not.
that guy.
I can totally tell who Jeff is and who Larry is. All right.
You don't know which one of us is which. You have no idea. You have no idea.
Welcome to the Sharpe Way.
Do you think Trump's going to
There
get
we
it
go.
right?
See?
Do you think Trump's going to get it right? He's like, a beautiful diamond. He's going to hold up the wrong picture.
I would rather him just not say anything at all because you know he's going to get it wrong.
Yeah. But they did love him, though. I mean, they loved him. So he should
yeah.
probably say something. They were all about Trump. So, well, I guess Silk is still here. So I'm sure Silk is all about Trump. So,
Right.
I mean, still. So he should probably say something. If I was Trump, I would say something, even if I messed it up, because they did love him. They were at the White House, all the cool things. They loved hanging out with him. So
Well, I'm reading right now what it looks like a post that Donald Trump put out on Truth Social. Part of it says there was no better team, capital TEAM, anywhere or at any time. So Diamond's death was totally unexpected. Probably her big and precious heart, in all caps, just plain gave out. Rest in peace, our magnificent Diamond. You will be greatly missed. Now, part of me is like, is that a real tweet? And is that a real post? It sounds like it's a real post, but
Yeah.
what a weird phrasing. Probably her big and precious heart just plain gave out. Like what a weird way to put it.
Yeah, that's Trump, though.
That's
actually,
Trump,
that's
man.
not called a tweet. It's on Truth Social.
It's on Truth
Oh,
Social.
It's called the
True.
truth.
A truth. He just,
Yeah, you didn't read a tweet on Truth. You wrote
That's
a-
correct. You
read
can't
a
read
tweet
tweets on Truth.
he just
Lou,
dropped
okay?
some truth.
He just
there.
dropped the truth.
Yeah.
He did. So clearly it was true. There we go. Or it wouldn't be called the truth. So obviously, yes, absolutely. So I don't know. Should we keep going? Maybe we shouldn't go now. I feel bad. Lou just screwed the whole game up.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if is there a question about Diamond and Silk that we can answer
is
on
there
this?
No, we were talking about people going to bathrooms, and Jeff was mad because Cedric got a special bathroom. That was it.
Yeah.
He was pissed. He didn't want Cedric to get his own bathroom.
I want to watch that.
Impressive, though.
I want to watch that comedy special of Cedric the Entertainer just doing an hour on segregated bathrooms and just see where it goes. So
Well, no, but on a bit more on a bit more of a serious note, I think your point's very valid, Jeff. I was playing devil's advocate, but I think your point's very valid. The entire reason why there had to be a law that made segregation is because humans naturally desegregate. It's what we do naturally, right? I mean, that's why there had to be laws in the South against miscegenation, whatever. When two races marry, whatever that's called.
Interracial
Anyway,
marriage.
That thing. Yes.
miscegenation or something like that.
Jungle
That thing.
Fever.
That also, AKA jungle fever. Yes, correct. So yes, but against that, because people would do it, right? It's that's why you had to make sure it was a law that Black people had to go to this store and white people to go to that store, because store owners would say, "You got green money? I don't care what the color of your skin is." They would have said
Yep.
it. You're totally correct. That was the entire purpose, right? And if you look at it now, and this is the part that will make some people in New York upset, which is why I keep saying I'm in New York. You look now, once you end the segregation, the school system in New York is more segregated than the school systems in the South.
I've heard that.
Yes,
I've heard that.
more in
Yeah.
in the North than in the South. Yeah. So once you got rid of the law, people started to mingle. Yeah, crazy how that happens. People just tend to like people and mingle with whomever they happen to like, regardless of their skin color, right? I say it all the time. Racism is not natural for humans. Tribalism is natural for humans.
Yes.
Humans are very tribal, but we're tribal among anything. We all like NFTs, or we all like the Yankees, or we all come from New York, or the thing we create. I have a tribe in the Marine Corps, right? When I meet Marines, we're always in the same part of that same tribe, right? So it doesn't matter what color our skin is. We create tribes all the time, but tribes also don't mean you have to fight. You can marry within tribes and unite the tribes, right? You can ally with tribes. So humans are naturally tribal, but we're not naturally racist. We have to be taught racism.
Right.
It's a whole different issue. So I'm sorry, I yapped away, guys. I apologize. So,
And now that the world has lost such a shining light, who knows? if we'll be able to fight racism as well as we did before. So sorry, I'm a little broken up by the loss.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell. So
up.
I guess you'll be doing her eulogy, Lou. Is that correct?
I would love. I would love to step in and fill her wonderful shoes. And so now it'll be Lou, Silk, and Lou.
It'll be Lou and Silk.
Are you going to wear blackface though?
No, do I, Jeff? Do I have to do that, Jeff?
Don't.
I think you probably should.
Oh, don't do that to me, Jeff.
I think you should.
Please don't do that, Lou.
Now you're putting Jeff. You're putting me in a terrible position because if I don't do it, then people are gonna be like, you didn't listen to what Jeff told you to do. And if I do it, I'm in big trouble.
Oh, is there something wrong about being black that you don't want to put on blackface, Lou Perez?
Exactly.
We got you either way, Lou. It's good. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Ryan says, Larry, you and me the same tribe. We are both former Marines. Oh, yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. That's good. So, Dan says, racism is actually self-destructive as the human race goes. Every ethnicity has certain genetic mutations. When you go across ethnic lines, it cancels out some of those mutations. Where homogenization occurs, mutations compound and become more detrimental as the group progresses. That sounded really smart, and I believe that because it sounded really smart. What do you think, Lou?
I'm sorry. I just went back over to. I'm trying to find this picture that I shared a while back.
It's about you and Diamond hanging out.
Yeah.
I had a feeling. I had a feeling.
My apologies.
He was photoshopping himself next to Diamond.
He was literally photoshopping her as we spoke. I know. I got it. All right. Let me.
Were we lovers? I who's to say? But in a way, didn't we all feel like we were in love while she was here?
You are really going to write that eulogy, aren't you? You're not playing. You're like setting it up right now, aren't you?
I think so.
You are setting it up. I love it. You are setting up the eulogy. That's amazing.
Start
He's positioning himself.
That's awesome. So Ava says, what's the difference between statism and tribalism? I think there is a difference. I think there is. Because tribalism is something that you would naturally pick, Ava. Like you would decide that you are part of a tribe with someone else. You would join that tribe or believe you're part of the tribe. Statism is just the state tells you what is the tribe. And I remember, I'm going to tell a story when I was a youngster as a Marine. When I was a young Marine, 17, 18, 19, I was all in when it came to the Marine Corps. All in. I was that guy who was like, we're going to bomb all the godless heathens into the Stone Age. I was that kid. Like, I wore the shirt that said, kill them all, let God sort them out. I wore that shirt. That's how much I was into the thing. I am such a pacifist now. But in my younger years, I was that. And there's a glory to that. And what I mean by that is life is easy when you know who the good guy and bad guy is because Ronald Reagan tells you who they are. And when Ronald Reagan tells you those are the bad guys, those are the bad guys. Why? Because Ronald Reagan said so. Life is easy. We're the good guys. Why? Because Ronald Reagan said so. Done. And it does give you confidence. And there is a certain way of living your life that way, that I can see the value in someone choosing that.
It does make it a lot easier. I mean, it was when somebody's telling you that the person that's against you hates you and hates your freedoms. We all heard that line. So you have to go over there and kill them. They just want to bring you down. Even if there's some truth to it, they'll leave out the rest of the nuance. They'll leave out the rest of the information that you would need to make a rational decision. And they do this on purpose. So they use tribal. So the state can use tribalism. It does it all the time. It's how it gets us into wars. It's what they're doing now with Ukraine and Russia.
Yes.
And to me, it's like tribalism. Yeah, that is more of a natural thing. But the state will play on that tribalism and use the concept of tribalism to further their ends.
Absolutely. Lou, you've got some fans. Logic Rex says, Lou is killing me, and I feel like an asshole for laughing.
That's what I was thinking. I will never forgive you for this, Lou, making me laugh.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what. I hope I'm not killing you because I think we've lost too many today.
No. Oh my God!
This whole time I'm trying not to laugh because I'm envisioning Lou photoshopping himself next to Diamond so he can grip off of it.
I'll tell you what, Jeff. I hope this world turns out to be like Westworld So then we know we wake up tomorrow and Diamond will be there in the saloon, ready to act out all of our wildest dreams.
There we go. Donnie's upset at you. She's like, Lou, your wife, though.
My wife is going to have to take a minute because I'm going to need a few hours. Sorry, Donnie. Actually, even your name, Donnie, is now making me think of one of the biggest supporters, the allies of Donald Trump, right there, Diamond. So
here we go.
Man, everything right now is just making me think of Diamond.
There is a nugget of truth to what you said, though, because the world of conservative punditry is very much like Westworld.
That is true. That is true. They are all part of the chattering class, aren't they?
Yes. And
yes,
chatter they do.
Yes, they do. Absolutely. All right. Let me try to get through this if we could. Just someone's gonna get mad at me if I don't. I'm sure. We're gonna say facilities open to the public. The owners can establish their own policies. We'll go there. Next question. What is your opinion about the transgender women and girls, those designated male at birth, playing sports against women and girls, those designated female at birth? 1, it's unfair to biological women and girls should never be allowed. 2, it should be the decision of the private sports leagues, but not allowed in public schools. 3, it is progress for the transgender women and girls to be recognized as they see themselves. Ooh, this one we got people thinking. All right, let me try to get Magdalene first because you have self-identified as a woman.
And so, she stands to lose the most.
Correct. Also true. And I have also dubbed her temporary empress of women. So she also has
Lord.
that going for her. So yes, you were also that. So yeah. Where's your head on this?
I think it's unfair.
Okay. There we go. So I'm going to say something which will make some people be upset. They say, Larry, there's a special men's league and a women's league. And what I'm saying is there isn't. Most who don't know this. The NFL, NBA, NHL, major leagues, have no rules against women. You can be a woman and be in the NFL. The rules of the NFL, if I remember, it's something like you have to be out of high school for like a year or something. That's about it. That's all you have to be. It's just not in high school to be in the NFL. You have to be out of high school, I think, for like a year or something. NBA, I think you can be drafted out of high school. The NFL, you cannot. Mm-hmm. So that's about the only rules they really have. So the NFL isn't a men's league. It is the league. And if you want to play in it, you may. They created a separate women's league, not to separate men from women, but to give women a safe space. That was the goal of creating women's leagues, women's this, women's everything, was the women's safe space. That was the reason. The women wanted, at the time when they were creating these things, women wanted safe spaces to be able to compete without men competing. That was the goal of the women's leagues. Mm. The other leagues are not, it's not the men's NBA, it's the NBA. And then there's the women's NBA, right? That's what it is. So the question you have to ask yourself, if you're a woman, I guess, is, do women still want a safe space? If they don't, just join the NBA. If they do, then that's the purpose of the WNBA, if that makes any sense. Or any women's league or women's anything. Do women still want that safe space or not? Did I just make somebody angry?
Probably, but it makes
yes,
sense.
I probably did.
I mean,
yes.
But the thing is, I mean, this is only a controversy when it goes one way, right? I mean, if an NBA team put a woman on it and she was good enough to play, there wouldn't be that much of a backlash. But if you do it the other way around and put Joanna Mann, which was one of Lou's favorite movies from what I've heard.
Yes.
Yep. If you put Joanna Mann on a women's basketball team, then you have an issue because there's a very clear advantage. You even take this to MMA and you have a man who believes he's a woman pounding the crap out of women, breaking their jaws because that's happened. That is not a safe space for women.
Yes.
And you could argue that, I don't know if that would violate non-aggression principle because both parties are agreeing to it. But if it's a team sport, they may not be agreeing to it and I'm not sure the woman is agreeing to it, because
when the female MMA fighter, the non-trans woman, joined the MMA, that was not the deal she was making. So I'm not sure I'm not sure you could even say she agreed to that. That's changing the rules. Right?
Yeah.
When she joined the MMA,
that
she assumed there'd be no biological men she'd be fighting against. Now you've changed the rules. I think maybe she didn't agree.
Yeah, you're right. She didn't. I mean, in the WNBA, if you have a man playing, if you have to go up against Brittany Griner and you're a biological woman, then you're going to have an issue. I mean, they have that. The man has the advantage.
Absolutely. Sarah says, I want to play in a league of my own, as they say. Yes, there we go. Yes, absolutely. I think that's true.
Yeah, and I think, as Jeff, pointed out, my favorite documentary is Joanna Man.
He literally has the DVD.
And for those of you who don't know what the tagline is, as a woman, he got game.
There we go.
And for those of you who are unable to find this, and that's everyone, our friend Kira Davis sent me this. This is a DVD. There's a bonus feature, Fat Joe's #1 hit, What's Love music video.
Look at that. I happen to love Fat Joe. He's from the Bronx.
Lean back.
Lean
back.
That's right. Lean back. Exactly right. Terror Squad. That is correct. Yes. I do sometimes show my Bronx roots. I do. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. That's great. I'm surprised, but not surprised that you actually had that DVD there, Lou. That's really good. I appreciate that.
I mean, I try to watch it as often as I can.
Isn't it like a documentary? I heard that you consider it to be a Christmas movie, don't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a gift to humanity. Therefore, I mean, it's also a Hanukkah gift for 8 nights in a row. So
look at that. So you turned Jewish for Joanna Man. That's impressive, Lou.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
As a woman, he got l'chaim. So there we go.
He got l'chaim. I love when they have l'chaim. I love that. So I get. So no one answered though. I mean.
Yeah, but Magdalene answered unfair.
I do too.
I think it's unfair.
So it's unfair.
One thing that I have to call, because I think this is another one of those questions where there's a little bit of trickery going on, where it's like we're gonna ask this cultural question, and then we're gonna add the whole private aspect to it to throw you for a loop. And I think that there's a cleaner way probably to ask that question. So
yeah, probably.
Okay, like you guys can be changing all the questions. Okay, we'll change the questions. Whatever, it's fine. You guys don't like my questions? You guys are mad at me? You don't like my questions? It's all right, it's fine. All I'm gonna say is, again, if you guys are watching on Twitter, do me a favor, retweet this now. And if you haven't hit that like button, why haven't you? Lou is literally making you laugh about someone dying, and you don't like that. What's wrong with you? That's obviously a good thing. So please do that. Magdalene just gave you the best Bitcoin wallet there is. You don't like that? Click like. Come on, what's wrong with you? Do that. Absolutely. Click like. And of course, if you want to, super chats on YouTube, if you're on YouTube instead. But no matter what, follow these people. Full M3TAL Mag, Fullmetal Mag. The E is a 3. Or the Lou Perez. Not any Lou Perez, the Lou Perez. And of course, Jeff on the right. Please follow these people on Twitter. You can also check out their websites if you head over to the show description. It would be amazing if you would do that. They would like it. So would I, and they would like it too. So, all right, we're going to go to next question. Which of the following, from your point of view, is the most appropriate way to judge people? This is not going to go well. All right. Yeah. First, whether or not they belong to a group that uses oppressive power. 2, whether or not they belong to a group that is committed to God, country, and moral values. 3, whether or not someone as an individual is respectful and refrains from harming others. I mean, you don't want people using oppressive power, do you?
No, I mean, not in the pegging way that Lou does. But
yeah, Lou likes the pegging thing. That's kind of like his thing. That's his thing.
I mean, it sounds pretty oppressive to me, but That's a good question. I think I would go with the third one, whether or not someone as an individual is respectful and refrains from harming others. That kind of covers the other one, whether or not they belong to a group that has oppressive power or that uses oppressive power, because there's a difference between having it and using it.
Do you define then harm as in physical harm? I mean, in theory, one could say if the three of us vote so that Jeff, you have to pay double taxes because anybody named Jeff has to pay double taxes. Mm-hmm. I'm not actually harming you, am I? Or maybe I am.
No, right? that is harm. I mean, you're voting to steal more of my money. Yeah.
But then is that being oppressive versus harming? Is there a difference? Is what I'm saying.
There is a difference, but I would still say that's oppressive. That particular example.
Okay. Okay. The flamethrower says, is Judge Dredd an option? I would hope not, flamethrower. I would hope not. First, because that first one was bad anyway. The Stallone version was a bad one. I don't know. Did anybody see the new Judge Dredd? Was it good?
I didn't see the new one.
Yeah, no one saw it. That's the problem. So I guess it wasn't any good at all. Absolutely. Yes, I think we have our answer. So I don't know. I mean, is there a difference, Lou? Do you see a difference in these questions, these answers?
Yeah, I think it's tough. It's tough there. You know, it just seems
because
like
the harming piece is what people think about, right? You think about harm.
Well, we'll think about it like
physical harm.
Yeah, but like, say for example, one were to take like you're a very rich person, and one were to take away your diamond and leave you silk.
I mean, you would still have a luxury at that point, wouldn't you, Lou?
But it wouldn't be the same because.
But is it harm? I mean, I still have silk, so I still have a luxury. Is it really harm? That to me would be a little bit on the oppressive side, but I wouldn't call that harm. I mean, are you saying you don't like silk? Is that what you're saying, Lou?
No. It's just like you're just so used to the two together, and after a while, it's just sort of like it's like with water. There's H and there's O, and oxygen is great, but without that hydrogen, you can't get wet.
Right. Well, that's also true. That's true.
Which makes pegging harder, maybe. I don't know.
Pegging is going to be much harder at that point. But still, but yes, he does have game. He does have game. Absolutely. Definitely does have game.
Oh, man.
Yes. So I'm going to go with the harming piece because I want to get off this diamond thing. All right. So
how many questions are there?
When it comes to a woman who accuses a man of sexual assaulting her, we must always investigate circumstances such as oh, you know what? I'm going to get out of this one. We're done. We're gonna walk away from that one. I don't want to go down that road. That's a road I'm not ready to go. I will go down that road maybe another way some other time. Donnie's going to call your wife, by the way, Lou. So you're in trouble.
I think Donnie's right. She's definitely right. She's stepping in at the right. I haven't been up past 10:30 in a very long time.
Absolutely. Yes. So, yes.
And now you really won't sleep because you'll be thinking about diamond all night.
I know.
Yes.
On my
Addie
silk
says, is there such a thing as boomerism? People see me, here I'm 62, and pass judgment. Everyone who's ever been on your show is welcome at my kitchen table to have a civil discussion on tough topics. Is there a thing where, I mean, you do hear the youth, the Generation Z, they insult people by calling them grandpa. That's an insult. Okay, grandpa. Right? They say that as an insult. Even to, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, they just go, okay, grandpa. And that's an insult. Is there like a boomerism? Is there an ism for people older and ageist? An ageism?
Yeah, that's always been a thing, though. It would we call them boomers now, but back in the day, like you said, you called them grandpa or gramps or whatever. Well, I'll tell you, Patty, I love you, and I don't judge you for your apparent boomerism.
There we go. I like that. Well,
yeah, there seems to be a just disdain for older people, as if sort of like, okay, your time's over, move on, nothing to learn from you. Well,
and a lot of pop culture stuff is focused on the youth. And so the youth sees older people not involved in it, and they're like, wow, you just really don't know what's going on or what's cool or important.
Well,
when really they're just more easily swayed.
Yeah.
I think there's also the issue too of older people not accepting that they are old and wanting to,
Like
come
put
off
their hat
as
on backwards or
come
something.
off as a little, as a
Yeah.
little younger.
Wear a hoodie.
So in some cases it's sort of a two-way street. I don't know if that's necessarily a two-way street. Maybe
It's
one
not.
way.
You've just made that up. That's
A
fine.
K-turn,
Yes.
parallel parking.
No, but what I want to bring on with you, Magdalene, is you're talking about things like crypto. That has got us kind of scare old people. I remember, and I give my age away a lot in this show, but I was in the Marine Corps when they went to direct deposit. That's how old I am. There was no direct deposit when I came to the Marine Corps. When I first came to the Marine Corps, you got a check every month from the government, so direct deposit. So they went to direct deposit when I was first in the Marine Corps. That's where the government would then put the money in your checking account. And then we had to write checks. Some of you don't know what that is, you youngsters, but we had to actually write checks. So we would write, there was no Venmo. We had to write an actual check, right? So we'd write checks. And many of them young Marines had no idea how to write checks. No idea, because no one had taught them how to write checks. Their parents used cash. They used cash or checks. They didn't know how to write. They didn't keep a checkbook. And they got in trouble. Like they were bouncing checks. We had a thing we used to call it. There was when you cash your checks or write your checks, will be at the enlisted club. And we say, oh, he went to go play basketball at the club because all his checks were bouncing. That's how bad it was. We had a saying about that. It was so terrible. So I think, do you get that? People can't change or won't change or think you're crazy or think something's wrong with you?
With crypto?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that are turned off of it because for different reasons. I know some people think it's killing the environment. So that's not necessarily specifically for like an age group. But I can also see where if you don't understand how it works, you would just dismiss it. I don't think that's a bad thing. And I know that like even my brother told me he was like looking into Bitcoin and he's like, I just can't seem to get like a layman's term. It seems like everybody's just kind of trying to like veil it in this different verbiage. So it just seems like really difficult.
Yeah, crypto sounds scary. Like the word crypto, right? That sounds scary. They should have made it like, I don't know, Panda coin. Like Panda sounds nice, but they made it crypto. They
got a lot of those, like sushi, swap, pancake. You can find some friendlier sounding ones.
Well, it sounds like it doesn't exist. I think that's the problem too. Like cryptozoology, or it's like Bigfoot. These Loch Ness monster. These animals that don't exist.
It's to explain. It's for cryptography.
Except for Bigfoot.
I mean, it's short for that. Oh, okay.
No, except for Bigfoot. I mean, there's like 8 shows on finding Bigfoot, Lou. All right, so obviously Bigfoot exists.
Still waiting for that season to wrap up with them finding one.
It's the next season, clearly.
They moved on to Nessie. They moved on to the Loch Ness monster.
But they don't have Finding Nessie. See, because Nessie's not real. They have Finding Bigfoot. So clearly,
I think you just thought of it.
I just did. That's our new thing, Jeff. That's our new deal. Finding Nessie. That's our new show. I love it. That's awesome. That sounds amazing. So no, but when I was talking about crypto, what I try to get people to think about, believe it or not, is baseball cards. Because I'm an old man, so I think about baseball cards. And I said, look, when you were a kid, you liked baseball cards, and you should trade baseball cards, right? And the value of the baseball card is what everyone agreed the baseball card's value was. And we all traded our baseball cards based upon the value that we all agreed. And they're like, well, yeah. So like if I had a Reggie Jackson card and you had a Carl Yastrzemski card, did you think it was a swap? We could swap it. It's fine. There was no government involved. We swapped our cards. I said, Bitcoin and crypto is similar to that. People agree upon a value and they trade on something they agree upon the value in. What's wrong with that? And most of the boomers go, oh, go ahead.
Each crypto has a different, well, not every single one is different from each other, but they're variations on where you're gaining your value from. So Bitcoin is, you're taking the energy that it takes to discover the new coins and you're quantifying that for the value. And then you're also finding value from guaranteed scarcity because there's only ever going to be 21 million.
Right.
But then you look at Dogecoin, which borrowed the code from Bitcoin, is also proof of work, but doesn't have a limit on how many there are. So that one's more so moving into, well, it's valuable because people like it. And also
Yes.
the network has been stable, but there is no guaranteed scarcity yet. It has gone up in value quite a bit.
Dogecoin to the moon. We're going to the moon with Dogecoin. Oh, not as cool as Dogecoin, douche dime. Not as cool as that one.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to look into talking to my
the only
lawyer
thing I know about
suing.
is douche dime at this point, because I don't understand any of it.
There we go. That's good. I do like the idea of us being able to have some kind of money that isn't run by the government. But you know this, Magdalene, government's trying to make that a crypto coin, right? That's the future, don't you think?
The CBDCs, yeah.
CBDCs, yes. What's your view on that?
Because I don't like them. I don't want them. I want to tell everyone about Bitcoin instead, because it is going to be a faster transaction, and there are a lot of things that are going to be beneficial for the government to implement digital currency. But then the individual's not going to be able to have self-custody of your money like you are with Bitcoin. So they're still going to be able to go in and take your money out of your wallet, just like they do if they want your money from the bank, and they just go to the bank and they say, that's ours now.
My words, what you just said, right? If I remember right, Bitcoin, one transaction still takes minutes, right, for a transaction to go through. Is that right?
I'm not sure. I haven't been spending my Bitcoin on anything.
If I'm not mistaken, if I know it was at one point, if it's still true, that the problem was if you went to buy something with Bitcoin, it would take a couple of minutes before you could complete the transaction. But if the government does it, it'll be seconds, right? So people are going to go, oh, I don't want to wait minutes. I want to have seconds. I don't care if the government controls me and destroys me completely. I need to save 35 seconds on my transaction. I am actually afraid that people will literally do that. That is my worry, that people will literally go, I don't want to wait in line for an extra 4 minutes or whatever the time frame is. I'd rather use the government coin because it's faster, even though they'll steal it from me and crush me and devalue it and ruin my life with it. Am I wrong on this one?
I think that would definitely be something that would dissuade people from using Bitcoin. And that's a theory that a lot of other cryptos have. And so they do try to address that issue. And there are ones that are a lot faster. But I know that Bitcoin is also, I'm sure they're aware and that they're wanting to upgrade and make it faster too. I don't know if that's the most important thing to them at the moment. I think they're more concerned about it just being stable.
Yes.
But I wouldn't want to speak for them necessarily.
There we go. I had a guy on my show who represents Tusk. Do you know Tusk? TUSC? The universal something coin. TUSC, the universal, whatever the S stands for, coin. And he says this is the best way of using it. Of course, he supports them. And what he's doing is he's using a specific niche. He's trying to get people to purchase firearms with Tusk, with those coins. So he's getting people to go just through that for firearms, picking a niche to get people to purchase them on that. And I think it's a very interesting way of doing it, because then one group of people is now doing it and making it the norm, and then others will begin to make it the norm also.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, because you got to convince people. You got to get them to spend the money and actually use it.
That's the issue.
There's a lot of cryptos that just end up sitting on an exchange and they get pumped and they get traded, but they're not really being used in any marketplace.
I think that's the biggest issue with crypto right now. I think the average person sees crypto as an investment and not as money. They see it like a stock or something, or they don't see it as dollars. Like they're not buying things with any of these coins, except douche dime, of course, you buy. That's the exception. But all the rest of them, no one's really buying anything.
Yeah, you buy douche times, you buy a part of me. And we're just being real. So,
and you also buy.
But I know that
on backwards.
I know that communities are looking to make more marketplaces available, especially like, I don't know if you guys know about Pirate Chain. Pirate Chain is a cool one, and
that sounds awesome. I don't know.
I know Jeff was like, "What? Go ahead."
Pirates, you got me in the conversation.
Go ahead. It's definitely more of like an anarchist type of mentality of focus on privacy, and I do know that they have like merchandise stores and different things they're working together, and that's just one example. But that's kind of a cool thing too. If you want, I would hope. I made Crypto Sluts honestly to try and get more people involved, because we need more innovation in the space. There's work to be done. It's not going to survive if people don't start getting involved and bringing their talent in.
What do you
But
think
so
is
if
the
you
next
see
step?
a project,
What's the next step? If you could make it happen, you got the magic powers and you can make the next thing happen. What's the next thing?
mass adoption. If
Oh, okay. There we go.
just
There we go.
because if it's not being used, even if it's a great alternative, we're just gonna all end up on the CBDC.
That's my worry. Yes, 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 yes. That is my worry. And I got Jeff nodding his head too. He agrees with me completely. Yes.
Yeah, the
That is my
reason
worry.
I agree, honestly, is because, from somebody who's on the outside looking in, who knows nothing about this, a lot of this comes off as very egghead, very esoteric, very hard to understand. And I know that there are
Yes.
probably ways to break it down in a way that is simple. I just haven't seen it yet. I mean, and I've read a little bit about it, but even what I read, and I couldn't even tell you what it was because I can't remember. It was just very complex. And since I already live in politics, it's already a complex world. It's just very hard for me to wrap my head around it. Like, what's Bitcoin? What's crypto? What's, whatever. I want to know about this pirate stuff because that sounds awesome because it has the word pirate in it. But other than that, I don't know anything about it. So if there are easier ways for people who are just complete laymen when it comes to this, then that might get more adoption.
Definitely. I hope to do that with my art project. And I know that there's a lot of people. There's a business, I believe it's in the UK, called Satoshi's Place. And they're like a bar, but they have items that are supposed to kind of like help explain what Bitcoin is through like the items they're selling. They have onboarding classes. I know here in Vegas, there's a lot of meetups for crypto and a lot of meetups for NFTs. So it's something that people in the space do feel strongly about and want to help to communicate and educate people. But I know myself, I'll get to talking and I'll use a lot of words that are unfamiliar, and I'm not really always sure how to break it down into different terms. So there should definitely be more of a focus on that.
But I'm going to go the opposite. I think what you said is actually more important. Most people don't know how the things they use work. They just know they work, right? Like, I don't know how my phone, I couldn't break it down and explain what was happening. I just used my phone, right? I don't know how, my microphone works. I just know it works. So I think if more people just adopt it, they won't care to just know, oh, I flash my Bitcoin number and I buy stuff. Done. I'm good with that. People don't know how their credit card works. Right? They don't know when I swipe what actually happens in the machine. They have no idea. They just know that when I swipe it, the guy gives me my groceries, doesn't complain. So I'm good. I'll just do it. I think mass adoption, I think you're completely right. Mass adoption is the key. Learning the back end stuff is secondary, tertiary, doesn't matter.
That's a good point. Yeah, I definitely bought Bitcoin without knowing how it worked and started using it without knowing how it worked. Same with NFTs. I started getting into it, and it was just the process of using it and engaging in things that over time I started to understand more so how it worked. And I wouldn't say I know everything about how it works at all either. I just know a lot more than your average person.
Logic asks a specific question. She says, what's CBDC?
Central bank digital currency.
Yep. Actually, I'm actually going to have coming on here Friday. Is it Friday? Yeah, this Friday, I'm going to have Herbert Sim on, who calls himself the Bitcoin man. He's going to talk all about that.
I just had a question. NFT, is that what Diamond is now? Is she an NFT?
Well, is she fungible?
Is it like a spirit thing?
She's not
like,
fungible.
Is NFT like a spirit?
She's not fungible. The question is she a token? Go ahead, Lou. Tell me if she's a token or not, Lou.
Larry, how dare you? How dare you?
You brought up NFT. Tell me if she's a token or not.
You walked through that door.
Yes, you did. You walked right through that door.
I am backing out very slowly.
There we
I'm
go.
backing out very slowly.
Very good. That's very good. I like that. So Sam says Bitcoin is a almost anonymous public ledger. Best non-tech answer.
It's super non-anonymous. You can look at all the transactions. So I guess like
there we go.
Your name's not on your wallet, right? It's just your address. But if they can ever corroborate you with that wallet, they can see everywhere your money went. So it's not anonymous. there are coins like Pirate Chain or like Monero who have felt that there was an upgrade that needed to be made to Bitcoin and have a focus on privacy. And I actually learned recently, you can like expose your Monero wallet if you want to. So say you want to show what you have in your wallet, or you want to show something to someone, you can show them for a time. So that's cool, because that's, we need that for things. But yeah, it's not private.
Good. Guys, before we wrap this up, it's been a great talk. I appreciate all the time you guys give me. I really do appreciate it. Anything we should be talking about or bringing up that you guys are doing that we should be talking about before we wrap this up? Jeff, anything?
Yes. If you're on the tweeters on Twitter, which is where tweets are posted, you
Correct.
can check out Liberty Spaces. That's what me and my partner in Liberty do, Donnie Anthony, who was in the chat here. We do it every Monday through Friday, most days, at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And we talk about a variety of topics from a Liberty perspective. You can read my work at Red State and also at Liberty Nation. Check out my podcast, A Fresh Perspective, and follow me on Twitter at Jeff on the Right.
There we go. Magdalene, tell me what's going on.
If you want to learn more about crypto or read my manga, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I'll be posting more of my artwork on there. I also have a new thing with my characters called Slutty Meme Cards that bring my characters into current events. Also another way of showing kind of things that are going on in the space. I've got some Sam Bankman-Fried references. I got some Trump references in there. So yeah, and all of it's just linked on my Twitter or my website, fullmetalmagdalene.com.
Very nice. Lou, tell us what's going on.
Yeah, you guys can follow me at the Lou Perez. I also wrote a book. Oh, excuse me. My book is called That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore, on the death and rebirth of comedy. It's available in paperback, Kindle, and I also narrate the audiobook.
I have the Audible.
Awesome.
I got the Audible like 2 weeks ago. I have sadly not listened to it yet, but I will, I promise. And it's because I do happen to love the cover, which comes from an album from the Smiths, which I was a Smiths fan back in the 70s and 80s. So yes, no one else will know that reference except for me and Lou.
That's why you had to leave the Bronx.
That's why I left the Bronx, because I like the Smiths. They say, get the hell out. Correct. Yes, absolutely. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for all coming today. I really appreciate all the time you gave me. I say thank you, everyone, for listening, for watching. This was the Sharpe Club, and I hope that we'll have many more of them.